If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Welcome back. So in the last couple of sessions, we have been gone through overview of solution manager, like what are the different entities, processes, building blocks, architecture, release information, the restrictions, and few of the prerequisites and the checks and checklists and all those. Those topics were at very high level overview, so that if somebody are new to this particular topic or technology, they may get the acquainted with these terminology and all, and have a repeated kind of nomenclature. So this is how you get to know the components and different technical objects associated with solution manager. But for those who are already been working, probably these are not the new things. But yes, we have to sync up along with everyone there. Okay. With that, let's move on to further next topic. And before that, I just would like to make sure, am I audible okay? Can someone confirm? Or hello?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Harika. All right, so in today's session, before starting today's session, let's have a quick recap in 5 minutes. As an I'll throw up a few questions, and probably you would like to answer them. And this is very high level things, so probably you might have already known that and seen it. But yeah, let's start with that. Windows. Okay, so yeah, so like a quick recap on that. What is the primary purpose of solution manager? Managing customer relationships, monitoring hardware resources, managing SAP system landscape and applications, managing financial transactions. What could be the right option? Anybody? I mean, you can go ahead and tell to the best of your
Managing
knowledge.
SAP system landscape and applications.
Yeah, that's right. So that's like we are managing the rest of the things, like are the ancillary part. We are not managing customer relationship with the solution manager. That is through the contract. Hardware resources, right? That is something, again, different vendors who are there, what all capacities are there. But yeah, we are not managing the financial transaction. There is a S/4HANA or some other ECC central components and all. Okay, moving on to the next one. Which of the following is not a component of SAP Solution Manager architecture? application server, database server, web server, network router.
Is it network router?
Yeah, that's correct, because we don't deal with, because network router is something which is being used for when SAP wants to log in, enter into your landscape network, and that's where we set up the SAP router so that they can seamlessly log in from their whatever customer profile through to your enterprise landscape network. And that's what this is outside of the solution manager. But yeah, this is one of the prerequisite that we establish with the customer and the SAP communication channel, which is SAP router. So you have to have the SAP router set up. Kind of, you can have this thing as a Windows based or maybe some other services and the files and all, and you can set up and configure there so that they have some secure area through that they log into your system, whatever the credential you have provided in the secure area. All right, so which of the following is true regarding Solman 7.2 as compared to its previous version? We also talked about comparative analysis of that. Solman 2 requires a separate installation for each module. Solman 7.2 provides a unified and simplified installation process. Solman 7.2 can only be accessed through a thick client. Solman 7.2 does not support guided procedure. Which can be the right option? Anybody can tell?
Is it B? Not sure.
Yeah, that's right. It's provide a unified because we come across these last 2 days overview session many times. Unified, simplified, revamped, business values and all. So um, it doesn't require a separate installation for all the modules, and the access is not like a through any other mechanism outside SAP, whatever is the client server technology. And we 7.2 supports the guided procedure. We talked about that. So what is the purpose of guided procedures in SAP Solution Manager? To automate business processes, to manage system users, to generate financial reports, to create organization chart. I think this is very much straightforward.
Automate business process.
That's right. So we also talked about something, there are many people, manual activities which are happening, repeat kind of activities which are happening. And you have the procedure and provision to, custom build guided procedure, you can document them, create the task list, and then, in fact, you can put them in the job as well, schedule them, so that that's how you automate your majority of the guided, business processes using guided procedure functionality of Solution Manager. All right, so moving next, which of the following work centers in Solman is used for managing incidents and service requests? We have seen work center concepts is role-based, right? So if somebody is into project management, configuration, administration, charm, change requests. So which one belongs to that? Change control management, custom code, incident management, test suite.
Change control management.
What you say? Sorry, I didn't get you.
Change control management, I think.
So here it is again. Yeah, that's not correct, because change control management, we have seen there are two major functionalities, right? Quality gate management and change request management. That's the core and very popular module under um, change control management, right? Charm. And those are the things that we do, the transports and stuff. Custom code, again, we deal with whatever the customization that you have done in your landscape. You have how many Z program you have created in your landscape. And those kind of like during the maintenance and upgrade, you have to take care of all those custom code and make sure it is not broken. So they have the provision for custom code management. Incident management. So for managing incidents and service requests, this the major module, this is not given here. This is the part of the things which is uh, this comes under ITSM, right? You know, um, all that service managements and all service desk, incident, problem, issues. So all managing incidents and service requests comes from the ITSM. This is the major module, and under that we have incident, request, problem, all those things. So this comes under that. Test suite is again something which is like it's a part of the build program. It's more of the portfolio to project that we have seen, right? Where you have a different phases of release, project releases are coming at implementation, and you get to build the test cases, environments and stuff, and then you test them, build the test cases. So all those life cycle ALM things, right? So yeah, the correct answer is incident management. What is the role of the solution documentation? We have not raised to yet, but we talked about a little bit about that one. Work center. We are talking about still the work center in solution manager. Solution documentation is a new terminology introduced in 7.2. It was not previously. And that's the core thing, which is the highest entity in the topmost entity in the solution manager. There is no concept of solution directory and what was familiar with 7.1. So it's managing hardware resources, documenting business processes and IT landscape, managing financial transactions, monitoring system performance. What's that?
Option B.
Yeah, that's correct. We are documenting processes, landscapes, and whatnot. Under that, we are defining the solutions. We are logically grouping the category of systems, dev, quality, production, one type of system, ABAP, Java, non-SAP. All those things comes under that hierarchy of that thing, including all the business processes hierarchy and the whole entire IT landscape. Which phase of guided procedure involves defining the steps to be performed? Definition, defining the steps, execution, analysis, configuration, preparation. So it's pretty much generic, and the question itself explains the answer that you are defining something. So definitely it is not execution. Analysis, configuration, and preparation. So you are actually, you have done the analysis, you have done already the preparation for all those automated processes, intended one, and then you have everything offline. Now you get into the system and then start defining them. So that comes under which one? Yes, no, maybe.
Configuration.
Correct. Configuration. So everything is done, and then we go to we configure each of the task list and involve under the guided procedure for that business process. What is the purpose of checklist in Solution Manager? To manage system users and role, to automate system backups, to track and ensure completion of tasks in guided procedure, to monitor database performance.
Option C.
Yeah, very much, pretty much generic. Track, ensure completion of task and guided procedure, and whatever the checklist. Uh, there are two things here. As a basis um, responsibilities outside flavor of system, solution manager is irrespective of what type of system. Basis responsibilities is a checklist is very much. There are different kind of checklists, like you do a pre-check and then post-check. You make the list, right? As a part of system refresh, as a part of installation, you have a prerequisite checklist that you perform, and that helps you majority of your troubleshooting efforts. And if you spend little considerable amount of time over there, um, it is definitely help you in reducing your efforts and landing up into errors or kind of situation. But you have, if you have been associated with basis and installation and all, we have to read through all those master guides, installation guide, make a list, what is prerequisites, all minute details, and make sure they are met before that, before installation preparation. And then even after the installation, the post installation configuration or steps. So you have, and that run list or whatever checklist that you prepare initially, that is going to be a template for your future installation and all, so that anybody can refer and then just run through that kind of workbook, and simply and their life is becomes easy. Okay, so yeah, so in terms of solution manager checklist, when we say it, everything comes with the guided procedures. So we have the basic setups that are in the solution manager: system preparation, infrastructure setup and preparation, all these things like basic system setup or managed system configuration. Whatever the guided procedures are there as a part of configuration, base configuration in solution manager, the checklists are part of that. Step number one, prerequisite to checklist and all. So there is a task list across each of those guided procedure, and you have to make sure that checklist, refer those checklists, read that, what does it mean, and then apply accordingly, whether manual, automatic, and all. If some patching is required, do the compatibility checks. What are the content delivery patches, add-on patches required and all. So all those checklists they provide in terms of they provide some the help tips as well in terms of refer SAP notes, this one and all, so full documentation. So in solution under checklist means that comes under, everything comes under the guided procedure that we check through. Which of the following is a prerequisites for installing SAP Solution Manager? A valid Microsoft Office license, an active internet connections, that's silly, a compatible mobile device, a valid SAP maintenance agreement. I think this is odd one out. So this is a blind guess, right? We are not dealing with Office, internet connections. Definitely that is required in the LAN, whatever the network. mobile is device is not required. So you have to have a SAP maintenance agreement. Without that, you cannot run, install, operate solution manager. If you're out of support, you have to shut it down. I have seen a couple of customers wherein they have, because it depends on like what is your road IT budget and roadmap, right? And SAP charges the maintenance support, right? Um, Hardly, say for example, your in-house team who are managing the applications and infrastructure or basis or security and all those people, they are enough to run the show, right? Keep the lights on, whatever is there and all. In very rare situation, how many SAP OSS customer case you have created, or hardly 20%, 30%. When you are in extreme trouble and something you are not able to find it and readily not available, then you open the OSS customer message, right? SAP message. So hardly, but you every year you pay a heavy amount to SAP for a maintenance. Licensing is different part contract, but every that recurring maintenance charges, active global support, they have a kind of your whole spending 20%, 30%, 25% of the whole spending of the software, products, licensing, pricing, and everything, the support part. So, and that's a huge amount, and you are leveraging very less, very less, very less. So yeah, and of course you're keeping your software landscape up to date. That is one thing. That is the biggest advantage. You always have scope to innovate, enhance, and improve your business application supports and software and all. Definitely, you have access to their repository. But I have seen, and if you are changing the maintenance support from SAP, you still stay good with the licensing part. You pay the license part. They will have the audit, whatever periodic audit of your licenses and all. But your active support, maintenance support is off with SAP. That means from the day it terminates, you cannot download any software. You cannot download any SAP notes. So you are given the provision that until that day, whatever the software content under your customer profile is available, SAP nodes, all you can download it, keep it offline in your landscape and use it as if your repository, local customer repository. And you break the connection between SAP and your landscape. So you shut down the solution manager. So there, I have seen there nowadays there's a third-party support, SAP supports coming into picture, wherein the job which is, if you are a SAP customer, SAP maintenance support comes as a default. You even never think in your dream that, oh, okay, I have to go out of support. But the organization started realizing from the financial part, and they started gradually moving from SAP maintenance to some, third party maintenance who is doing a similar kind of job. They have set up organization, geography and everything. There are many vendors, company who was doing that on behalf of SAP. All right, so valid maintenance agreements and stuff. Okay, what does Solman stands for in the context of solution manager?
Solution monitoring.
Yes, software landscape management, system operations, now SAP online management. Okay, solution monitoring. That's what we are doing, monitoring. Okay, that's a good one, and just a recap of the whole things, a little lighter version of that. Let's move on. Here it comes now. Can you see my presentation for the next topic? Can someone confirm?
Still, I could see notepad on the same screen.
Oh, okay. So wait 1 second. Um, Saurabh, do you have anything to say?
Nothing is seen on screen, so and
Oh, yeah,
your
yeah.
voice is also not audible. So
Yeah, I'm just connecting there. I just connected to the remote system and now I'm sharing it. All right. Can you see it now? Can someone confirm if you can see my screen?
yes, screen is visible.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, thank you. So now we will talk about like what are the users and authorization concepts. Many of you have already been working through the basis and security, both of them, but a few of them might not be aware of these portion other side because many clients having a segregation of duties in place and they have a dedicated basis team and dedicated security team, so you don't mix up. But then as a solution manager administrator, you are supposed to be in the both side. The administration is definitely the first and foremost, and at the same time it's not like in terms of solution manager, it's not good to know, it's not nice to know, but yeah, it is a must. You should know like what all this works, because as a part of initial configuration and setup, and when you release the system for the functional use, and definitely there is a functional configuration consultants in place who as a project this is being taken and then used forward, wherein you are not responsible for that. Your thing is just like base installation and base configuration, and for that base configuration and things and delivery from the SAP basis standpoint, you are supposed to know the users, what all users are involved, what are the authorizations, concepts and all. Um, but if you are doing SAP basis, it is always good and nice to know the SAP security and by default. And that's how I think nowadays people are doing. So and that this, if you consider this as a different, a dedicated career opportunity or something, then this has a different, altogether different line. You have to deep dive and take that route and grow and build in that SAP security. And nowadays, it's not about classical security, but it's about more of, you know, um, it's not about ABAP only security. There are many things which come into picture, like you have to do Java security and different flavor of systems like security, right? When it comes like the ECC security, which is a very basic ABAP security, is something else. Then if you add a different security into the landscape, like HR security, that's a different altogether. There is a kind of structural authorization, position-based authorization. So they are altogether different. If you are if you're bringing in the CRM into your landscape, they have a different set of security setup, all module. It's not like base ABAP security. If you are introducing BW, BW has got another big chapter for the security, SAP security BW, right? All those BW authorization concepts are altogether different. CRM is altogether different. They have an organization model, business role concepts, business partners. They are altogether different. Their working ways of working are different. So what I mean to say is, but at least you are supposed to, as a basis, you are supposed to know the ABAP security, which is by default, which comes by default. Not the module specific security is whatever system flavor related security is, like whether it is PI or PO or BW, CRM, bots, MDM, whatnot. So, well, so you're not supposed to know all of them, but yes, ABAP security, which is the building blocks and the base security, you are supposed to know, and that's where it comes like. I come to know, and I would like to a little touch base on that before we, you know, enter into the solution manager. Okay. So user differentiation, user types, role types, separation, segregation of duties, composite roles, authorization concepts, business user, technical user, and setting up the authorization roles and all. So okay, user definition within the context of business process, users are relevant, represent human users, Solomon IDs, scenarios. Okay, so this is the T code, right? SU01. And there are two pieces here. Let me use this quickly. You can still see my screen, right? I switched over to another screen. Can someone confirm?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, all right. So if we talk about the whole aspects of authorization and security, what we call them as a web-based. So a web-based security, if we are talking about, then there are only two parts in totality. There are two module of this particular security. One is user maintenance and another is role maintenance, right? Sorry about the bad drawing. I'm not good at it. So this is just for the representation purpose. So they are only as a web-based security. If we are talking about, they are only user-based and role-based. Sorry, the role maintenance and user maintenance. This is what we do. So there are two major T code that you deal with is SU01 and PFCG, right? So if you know functionalities of SU01 and PFCGs, this is what is needed. That's it. Nothing more than that. The functionalities of that. again, they are a deep dive topic under the ABAP-based security as well. Whether you go into the program level authorization and table level authorization objects and whatnot. So, but then at least in Solution Manager, as a part of SAP basis module, if you're dealing with, then at least you should you're supposed to know these two, how it works, and little bit of that. Not the every functionality is inside it, but yeah, basic stuff. What are the how you update the user profile into you assign a user into a role. How do you create a role or copy a role and under that role maintenance and all. So because this module is needed just because SAP provides roles which are not profile generated. So you have to generate a mass generation of the profile, and then you have to start using them. But before that also, you have to, whatever the SAP standard SAP roles are delivered, you have to copy them, right, to your Z or Y namespace. Because sometimes you would come to know that, oh, okay, SAP is saying that you assign this SAP underscore SM underscore admin or something like that. And then you are good. But being an administrator or whoever is a business user or something, you are saying that, hey, they are still not validated. But then I think these profile generation, um, these profile generation, whatever comes, SAP standard role profile generation is part of your basis installation. So if you are already done, this is actually done by that as a post steps, um, basic post steps. So these are done by that, but still it may surprise you that something is not working, and the reason is that the profiles are not generated. But then if you copy into your ZNY, whatever customer namespace, then definitely you make that authorization part, generation part, and then this is a valid role. Then you can assign this to the user, right? So what I mean to say that understanding of these two roles is required. Now quickly coming to say for example, why we need understanding of different roles in that. So because SAP delivers the role based you got role based tasks under Solution Manager, right? And those are like somebody would need, say for example, process documentation work center. Somebody would they are only dealing with the process documentation. Somebody would come and say, I am doing with incident management, right? So because there's this, say for example, this goes with all business users. So majority of the end users should have capabilities to raise incidents from the satellite system or remote system itself, right? Customer notification, support notification. so that you make sure that you copy that incident management role, the work center, and then assign it to all the end users there. So, and likewise, whatever the different work centers that you have seen. So depending on the how many different team we have to support 1 to n, um, you you design these, the SAP delivered standard SAP roles, right? So either you can, there are many, so you can combine these and these together and give it to one team, right? One team. Or maybe another module would require you have a dedicated team. So depending on that, you build the strategy, and then this is how the role-based situation comes. So what here it is being highlighted is user differentiation is very much important, and based on the user differentiation, who needs the between the users, you have to differentiate who all needs the configuration to do the configuration, who needs the administration, who needs the monitoring, and who all needs from the end user perspective and all. So that's why if you see here, we have to build and categorize those roles accordingly. So user differentiation is something which is important. Um, so say for example, during the configuration of this particular module, right? So while configuring the solution manager, you come across many T codes, many authorization involved under that. And this is one of the T code, which is very much important. And that's where everything is included. So you have to have um, solution manager, Solman admin, T code. Okay. So for this configuration purposes, you would need to have let's talk about this. So the configuration, right? So you would need Solman underscore setup T code. And for that, SAP delivers a corresponding role. Okay. And that's again, which sounds like SAP Solman admin com. So there is a role for this. So you have to assign this particular role um, in the system, and then you should be good to go. So let's quickly check about that here. So PFCG, the transaction code that we are talking about here, is the role maintenance, and that's what we deal with, either creation of new roles, uh, copying a new role, or maybe authorization profile generation, and changing a role content or changing the authorization or modifying a role. So everything that you do under this particular tool, which is called PFCG, and we were talking about SAP underscore Solman underscore admin, right? So they deliver many of the roles
Solman.
as,
You have
oh,
not given the
sorry.
proper name.
Oh, sorry about that. So they deliver as many of the composite roles as well. SAP delivered composite roles, and then they are single roles as well. We'll just come to know about that quickly, understanding about that. So here you see we were talking about administrator user. So you have this thing. Um, again, there's a display version of that also. So if somebody wants to, if somebody is joining the project as a beginners and you do not want to mess up things, then you can provide this particular another role, which is a display. Okay. So if you provide this particular role, this is a composite role. Okay. So composite role is, again, for the timing, just understand this is nothing but um, um, say for example, single role and then composite role. So single role, we have single role 1, single role 2, single role 3. So these are the actual authorization role, technical role. These are, we can say this, these are the tech roles. And composite role is nothing but composite role. Say for example, comp role 1 can have this single role 1 only. Comp role 2 can have combination of these two, single role 1 plus single role 2. Similarly, comp role 3 could have combination of all these three. This plus. So this is nothing but a box, a folder where we have multiple single roles. Okay. This is not a technical roles. It doesn't contain any authorization or any profiles under that. So what this single role is the one which contain the authorization profile, and under that authorization profile we have everything, all the access and all. So this is the main role. So it is just like that. So in that case, say for example, this is the scenario. So you are assigning, either you can assign 1, 2, 3, 3 different single roles to the user. Okay. Or you can simply assign this composite role 3, one composite role to the user. Both are the same. This one and this one are the same. So composite role is nothing but a container. It's just a folder. This is what I meant to say. So here you see this is the composite role, and it contains nothing but multiple single roles. All of these are single roles. Okay. Can someone tell if somebody has worked into that? Can you assign a composite role to a composite role? Food for thought. So here you see composite roles are nothing but a container which contains all the single roles. And under this single role, if you go to this single role, this is nothing but a technical roles. How you differentiate? So the composite role will have description is in common. The role, there's a multiple, the three option that you see is a single role, multiple role. And a menu, it's again, uh, for the ABAP security, it doesn't matter. Forget that one. Menu. User matters. Personalization, you forget again. So these two tabs, you can forget ABAP based security and something like that. These comes into play, personalization and menu, when you are dealing with the HR security, structural security, or their ESS, MSS component of HR functionality. So you have to deal with the personalization here, and then this piece, personalization key, P key, again belongs to some SPRO configuration, which is, bundle of HR, report forms and something, and then you assign that P key to here in the launch pad. There would be somewhere, whatever that one, corresponding module of that thing, and then that's how that security works. But for the time being, you forget that one because we are not dealing with any security other than ABAP security. So composite role, you just focus here that you have only roles and users. Roles and users. Okay. Um, and single role, which is the technical role, you have a menu. Means either this could be a report, program, whatever the T codes and all. You can add the transaction codes here. That's again the depends on the workflow is again from it's again based on the ABAP module only, but it's a enhanced functionality wherein you are using the workflow, the smart forms workflows. Um, in HR also we have the workflow module which goes for approval process and then comes back and then do that. There are multiple steps involved in a particular process. That's where you configure. But here, time being, you just focus on the menu, authorization, and users. Forget about everything. So ABAP technical role based thing, what we're doing is here, um, you can have a menu here, you can have a T code, you can add over here, and see here, this role is not generated. There is no profile, okay? I'm not sure, what is that, SM, this is important. This is important. These are generated. Okay. So so menu, authorization, and user. This is the technical single role. This is what you need. And authorization is something which contains this particular profile, and this profile is basically includes the whole access thing. And when you assign this role, this profile is added to the user master record. And that's how the whole thing works. So yeah, so coming back to this solution manager admin, right? So the first thing first that you do here is you assign yourself or who is um, the user Solman admin user, right? You, so whoever is supposed to perform this configuration, and they are supposed to assign this particular composite role. And there is a display version we have seen also here, um, that you can assign, um, that comes with a display here. So you have a display as well. For somebody is new to your team, you can assign that particular user and they can navigate through, just have a flavor of understanding how it is this and all, so that you make sure nothing is broken and by mistake no accidents happens. But then it is ideal that whoever is the admin, I would say, um, assign that particular thing when you are doing the basic setups, the direct profile, which is SAP all and SAP new. So these two profiles, because you don't know whether the things will break if you're not sure about, um, what roles, what all combination of roles you need for this solution manager setup transaction code. So just to avoid any, and unnecessary efforts in troubleshooting what is failing, what not, and something is not getting configured, you make sure that, uh, sometimes you assign these profiles, and later on you can just take it off, because when you are configuring the system from the scratch after the installation, it's not in operational or in use. So uh, it is completely yours. You are the custodian of the system. So you have anything and everything. And then when it is ready for the release, you take it off, because you should not assign anybody's except for the SAP standard user, maybe Derek. Okay. So administration part, whatever that you deal with that, this particular um, role is necessary to be assigned, and this is a part of your composite role, um, which comes into play. So yeah, so this is for the admin. We have seen administration purpose. You need something. Another thing is that, um, say for example, there are many roles related to um, what you call them as solution manager core roles, right? Which is related to what add-on component ST, which comes when you add on this particular component, then all these solution manager core roles are by default come as a package. Then these and which provides the technical, all the single roles that you have seen, technical authorization to all of them, and which is, and administration is part of that. All the work centers that you see, that is part of that. Now this is from the solution manager. Now say for example, we have other modules which are installed in the solution manager, right? You have seen, yesterday we were talking, there is a CRM component as well, add-on. So we already seen that this particular thing is required for your ITSM plus charm, right? So because both of them uses kind of the business partner BP concept, which is this is a T code itself. That's where we generate the BP business partners. So these two modules works on this CRM. That's why if you remember, you to launch the Charm cockpit, you use the T code SM underscore CRM, right? This is the T code and that's why the Wave UI is launched for this CRM, wherein you can, create the normal change, urgent change, or whatever is defined as per your project need. That's why, so when you add on these particular things, so there are some roles which are related to CRM add-on related, and which supports these CRM roles control these functionalities. So because Charm is again used by many people, right? Non-technical people as well, like project manager, tester, a developer, right? Then IT basis, and and the approvers, whoever is the change management control, you can say somewhere, um, what we call generally like change advisory board, CAB. So there are different roles, and for that you have to control through the roles delivered under these add-on, and understand the contents inside that, what are and how those are controlled at different um, support people and the business partners under that. There are certain roles which comes like you do the reporting, right? So data warehouse under BW component, there are many reports are being generated under solution manager. So as a part of these, all the roles related with the reports are getting, coming into your system, and you have to little bit understanding about what all roles are there in terms of reporting, right? So there are many BW reporting roles. So again, when you open the launch pad, right? Uh, what you call them as a launch pad. So they are here different work centers, menu, link, and there are a lot other things. So you have something UI related roles are also delivered over here that you have to check and see. And then um, likewise, if say for example, if you are adding a third party add-on, so they have something as a role also they are provided as a part of this package, and then that third party tool access will only work for someone if you assign the newly uh, introduced third party related roles and all. So what I mean to say that across each of these basis components that you see, there are certain roles and for different functionalities and understanding. So and our solution manager is ABAP plus Java. So we have some Java based role as well. So we have to check like what all roles are in the what we call them as a UME, right? User Management Engine. So you have to understand like what all roles are there to control the Java based like what are the major thing you deal with, the SLD, then another thing that you deal with CA introscope, right? So there are certain Java roles which are delivered, and that you assign the user under that UME. Like in ABAP, you have user maintenance SU01. So in Java, our user maintenance is UME. So yeah, there are various roles and things and category requests for this, and we have to you have to navigate through, and they are in the different naming conventions, and you have to get familiar with all those naming convention and details. and then as and when need, you have to take the steps towards that.
So, Ashish?
Hi.
Yeah, I mean, can you see the raise of hands or something during the call? I mean, when you're taking the session?
When I'm in Teams window, then I can see. But say for example, if I'm in the here, I do not have visibility. Or here, I do not have visibility.
Even when you go in remote desktop. Oh.
No, not here. Here is completely off. It's
Yeah,
completely off.
okay. But there
Is
should
there a
be
way?
some, yeah, I don't know, but there should be some way, I think.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
anyone else can help out.
Yeah, because when you are sharing the whole screen, it makes sense, right? And you are out of the Teams window. So, and Microsoft Teams should be intelligent enough because they have lots of stuff. And anyway, we can figure it out if some expert can help us in that regard. Okay, so we were discussing about, we see something here. And then there are end users, as we are saying, like, am I audible? Just say once.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So like we have seen the administration part and all configuration and all, and there are some end users wherein definitely they would need the something that has to be checked through, right? And as well. So for that, they have SAP delivers lots of composite roles with technical name ending. We can do some search here based on their segregation of duties, right? So there are many for different purposes like BI, business process related, composite role, change manager. Here you see the whole set of charm roles: administrator, manager, configuration, developer, operator, release manager, requester, tester. Um, yeah, depending on the usage, you can pick up these end user roles. Again, copy into your customer namespace and start using them. So yeah, so there are some end user roles which are delivered, and these are the basic user types like business users and technical users, which are related with the system, internal communications, RFCs mainly, and remote system, which are there for the connectivity. Again, that's nothing but the RFCs, right? Initial admin user, that's you, like basis administrator, Solman setup, and all. We have business role. We have already covered like the add-on specific roles are there. Many of them: CRM, BW reporting, solution manager. We have Launchpad, Fiori Launchpad functions in SAP that you have seen. So they are tiles and work centers roles. Yeah, so multi-level separation and segregation of duties are there, and that is required. We have single and composite roles. So let's talk about a little bit of the authorization concepts yeah, in terms of the basic authorization concepts that we see in SAP web authorization. Okay. So here, whenever you get to know about like how these we basically we assign roles to the user, right? And that's how their functionality starts working. Somebody comes and complains that my authorization access are not working and it's failing. Then you come back to the role content and see what all roles are there, what needs to be changed, what granular level objects are missing. So how these the whole end-to-end user to role to the profile to the authorization object, and then few technical terminologies are there. So we will have to understand how these are segregated. So the top level entities that you see in this authorization concept is nothing but the um, authorization object class. Okay. Then we have um, authorization object. Then we have what we call them authorization. Then we have authorization profile. Then we have role, and in the end we have user. Okay, so users. So these whatever that you see here, all these exactly as it is, these are the technical naming nomenclature. So all of these, and this is like the hierarchy. There is say for example, so we have to understand like what relates to what. So the top entity is authorization object class. This is nothing but a grouping of group of what? Authorization object. Okay, so say for example, here we have uh, authorization object. There are two sets of authorization objects. Authorization objects is again is nothing but that something that starts with S underscore something related to the module, each component depending on that. So say for example, very first authorization object, when you launch the SAP home screen and launch any transaction code, which SAP goes and checks into the table is S underscore T codes. If you do not have this authorization object, you cannot launch any T code. So this is the basic authorization object. So similarly, all of the authorization object starts with S underscore something, something, something. So when you log into SAP, right here, this is SAP logon pad, and when you log in here in SAP, so there is a user exit, what we call them. So you log in with your user ID and password. So this particular exit, the very first thing, goes and check in table and authenticate that whether this user is existing or not. Then first thing that is being checked. Then second thing is checked whether the credential you have used or the way it is being set up, password is correct or not. If it is not, if it is yes, then it goes to your, it launches your SAP homepage. And then you run T code, say for example, SU01. It goes and check this particular table, S underscore T code. So it goes and check where does it check? It goes and check into your you are assigned to whatever the role you are getting assigned here. These roles are assigned to your UMR, what we call them as a user master record. So user master record belongs to what? User profile. So when you trigger any T code, the SAP first thing goes and check whether this SAP underscore T code is there in your user master record or not. If yes, then it further launches your that SU underscore T code screen. If no, then it rejects and says that, hey, you're not authorized, right? So this is how it works. And then, so say for example, we are just talking about one single simple S underscore T code authorization object. So this, all the T codes, transaction codes, belongs to certain authorization object class. We have, depending, this is nothing but, say for example, this is based on basis, this is based on module, cross apps, cross application, functional module like, you know, FICO, SD, HR, MM. So this authorization object class is nothing but a grouping of T codes under this components, each component. So if you are belonging to the basis T codes, then there are certain authorization object class which are AAA, A, B, something like that. We'll get to see that. They are cross application BC underscore A, BCA, something like that. If they are finance related module, so this is FI, then SD, and all those stuff like that. So the T codes. So so what end user actually executes is the T code, and the T code is tagged to the authorization object, which is S underscore T code. So this So depending on what T code, which module T code you are using, if you are using basis, then S underscore T code and related all other transaction codes. So all these authorization objects belongs to that basis group, whatever it is, authorization object class. Okay. If there are some other modules T codes you are using, so there are multiple hundreds of authorization object combination, uh, depending on the control level of access. So they belong to something, say for example, FI module. There are similarly some other things which belongs to the SD module. So authorization object class is nothing but a bundle of authorization objects. Okay. Now this authorization object contains two things. What we call them as field and values. And these two things combined is called authorizations. So S underscore T code is having some field or values. Okay. So field is nothing but the what is the descriptions. There could be one field or multiple field, and what is the value against that. So say for example, in this case, S underscore T code authorization object. So S underscore T code authorization was the field is called TCD. And under this field is called TCD. So under this T code, say for example, now you are executing SU01. So you have to under S underscore T code, you have to maintain the field TCD. The value, what is the value? SU01. Likewise, whatever the T codes that you are dealing with. So this is nothing. The field and values are called the authorizations, and these field and values belongs to what? Uh, Multiple of authorization object. These are tagged to the authorization object. Multiple. Similarly, here there are many other fields and values, hundreds of fields and corresponding values. Activities are there, change, display, create. So all of these either belong to one of these what authorization object. All of these. Now these authorizations are contained in whatever you can see the profiles, right? The profile T hyphen something, S hyphen something. You can have your own custom profile, whatever Z or Y as well. If you do not want to opt SAP generated defaults, you can put in your own custom profile name, and then you can generate the profile, populate all the values there. So all these authorization, which are there, nothing but the field and values, they are pushed into this profile, that whatever the profile that you are creating, TS or ZXYZ, whatever. So the profile is again container of what? Authorization. This itself is nothing but the container of this. There is certain limitation of profiles, that how many authorization counts that can contain. There's a limitation, some 1,000 or something plus that. Again, there is a limitation that how many profiles you can push into, assign into user master record. There is a limitation. So but then it's large enough that your organization can accommodate, that space or room space has been given. So these authorization profiles, now see the directions here. All authorization objects belongs to the authorization class. The authorization belongs to what object, and these authorization are then uh, generated into the authorization profile. And these authorization profiles are tagged to the role. That whatever the role that you create, these are tagged to the role. Role 1, 2, whatever you create. And then you assign this particular role to the user, say for example, right? So user is able to execute SU01 here. So first thing first, what happens? This login happens, then SAP goes and check S_T code, this authorization object, and goes and check this TCD value is there under your user master record via this profile, via this role, and under your user master record or not. So that's how, this is one example, and that's how the whole hierarchy and authorization things for other modules as well. There are hundreds and hundreds of authorization object, authorization. So these two and this one as well. So here is the grouping of the objects, right? So this number would be less, maybe in hundreds. This objects could be in, thousands, and this could be in multi-thousands. So of technical objects. I'm talking about technical objects. So the whole thing goes like this, and that's when you are successfully able to access something there. So the direction and profiles and things. So this again, authorization profile is again a lower level container which contains the authorization, what fields and values under that, all the authorization object. And role is again another highest level container wherein you have which contains the authorization profile. So either you assign the role to the user, or you can directly assign the profile to the user in the user master record. What user needs is these fields and values and authorization object. And these two technical objects are checked while you do the transactions here, but these are not checked. These are just the classification that, hey, you guys belongs to which organization basis. This belongs to FI. So these are just for the classification grouping purposes. This has no role in the access or technical things intervention, but these two, object and authorization, are the two core object technical things, the building blocks of the authorization access. So with that, but directly assigning profile to the user is not a practice that we never do. There are SAP, there are certain things that SAP delivers not as a role, but directly as a profile, like SAP_all new S.A_T for transport management and stuff like that. There are many profiles SAP delivers for different purposes. So let's have a quick check into the system here. What we were just talking about. Let's say, for example, we're talking about this one. Yeah, pick up any, say, for example, this one. So this is the role which is assigned to so the role that you assign here in user maintenance screen, SU01, this is the role that you assign. And this whole SU01 is nothing but user master record. User master record is like there this user is having the address data, logon data, or certain defaults, then role, what roles are being assigned, and each role, whatever the role that you define or assign over here, uh, automatically the corresponding profile gets populated here. Okay, so here you see there are so many roles, and then these are automatically assigned. And this profile is nothing but um, authorization profile is nothing but the in-house's authorizations and authorization object with the field and values. So the whole set of this thing are called user master records, right? UMR that we have seen. The every information about the user that we see over there. And combination of all these tabs and all these data, user data, and whatever you see, logon data, roles, these are stored in ABAP tables, right? So an ABAP table is nothing but a database table, right? So they are database because every, okay, we have to go one step back, maybe. Let me clear this frame. So, right, SAP system, right? So SAP system is nothing but we have multiple SAP instances plus exactly one database. So, and then this database is hosted again, and all of these are, we have underlying OS platform, right? So we have different tables here and ABAP tables which goes and sits into the database schema, and their data and things are residing over here. But these the table structures and everything that belongs to the dictionary, and which are, when you access certain table, say for example UMR data, we are talking about user master record, right? So name and address and role, all these information are sitting in certain table, and the data is stored in that particular table and into the SAP database files, right? So that's how this thing is. I'm just trying to say here is we have user master related tables. There are hundreds of USR tables that you see that in-houses user master record, logon data, address data. There are many other things that you see, and there should be all of these. So all of these tables that you see here, user master authorization. Let's see what's that. So you see all these, the raw data, technical data are sitting here, all the user names and all those modification dates, and their the first name, last name, what client and all. So when we call this particular table, this is coming from what? The database, and the data resides in the database, and it is faced into the the memory, and then it is displayed here in the table level. So yeah, so all these belongs to the different tables and all. And so here, okay, we were talking about the user master record. So this is the user master record. Now we also talked about this particular role is nothing but authorization profiles, right? So this is the authorizations. We are talking about authorizations, right? Which is nothing but field and values and authorization object. So the whole authorization things and actual content of the authorization field values and authorization object belongs to this authorization tab. So if you display that, and if you'll see here, so here you see these are the authorization object class. Okay, these are the authorization object class. So these are the class definition, like cross application, basis central, solution manager. If you have some other modules like HR, then there will be HR authorization class, SD, FI, all of them. So, and under this authorization object class, you will see that it's gone. There is a authorization object. So this is object class. This is authorization object. We talked about S_T code. And under this authorization object, there are fields, which is nothing but TCD, and these all are values under these fields. So your access rights, what level of granular level of access you will have, that is controlled by this one. So there are various kinds of field wherein you have the activities. Say for example, here you will have right. Here you see there are a lot of things. So in this authorization object, we have so many fields. So it's just like logical grouping, how many, so that you can control the whole access part. So here you have multiple fields, and then you have activity like, create, change, display, and so on. So that if you remove the 01 activity number from here, so under this T code, under this authorization, whatever the T codes are there, you cannot create under that T code. So what I mean to say is this object class, then authorization object, and then fields, and these are the values. So this contains the nothing but authorization. You generate these into the authorization profile. Okay. Let's quickly take an example here, how you generate them. So we are just trying to create one role. So here, this is the change, this is display for the existing role. You can create a single role and then technical role, first thing first. And then you put some descriptions here. Solman setup, T code, say for example. So basic configuration. So here is the description. Generally, what we do is it's a bit better as if you have done in the past or something. you maintain the logs here, documentation for if you are creating something. Um, say, for example, today's date is 25, whatever that, 25/08/23. So this date you are creating, give some reference uh, created for demo purpose or something. But in actual business scenario, you gave some, you have some, you are working on some incident tickets or something. Give some ticket reference here and maintain it, so that in the future, for somebody comes or you or anybody, it will be quick, you know, recap of what has changed and all. So the first thing first, you have to, you know, um, you have to save the role first name, and then maybe depending on the what practices you have in your different customer landscape, um, you can opt to create one folder so that understand by the role name what is there inside, and then you can start pushing, adding the T codes over here, Solman setup. So I just, the moment you assign this particular T code here, you see the authorizations are not maintained. It's like completely red. I have just added it. At this point, I save it and then assign it to the user. The user will not be able to access this. So what is, this is the description, but there is a, you can display it. Where is that? Okay, so but this because you have just added this T code to the role, but you have not generated the profile, because the access, the whole, the authorization object and field and values are contained in the authorization profile. That is must. So now if you come here, you have provision to give your whatever, you know, Z, X, Y, ABC 0, 1, 2, 3. There's a character limitation, and you can provide the description here. But generally, we do not do that. Whatever the SAP generated thing is there, you can generate automatically, or SAP generates it in their format. So now here you come and go into the change mode, and I don't know what authorization class, so it's always best practice that you can display the technical names so that you understand what all authorization class and objects are. So there are traffic lights here. This is green, which is already maintained. S underscore T code already assigned, green. You have, and then you will have to make sure under this everything is green. You, whatever the yellow traffic lights are there, you will have to maintain them or either inactivate them so that it becomes, you know, not usable. But for the active authorization object, these are the open authorization. You have to either close it or you have to maintain it. So let's say, for example, I'm not sure what is the requirements and all, so I'll go ahead and blindly give the full authorization here. So I'll give the full authorization here, here, here. But all these things, again, if you are into security, you have to maintain accordingly. But for a basis consultant here right now, since SAP delivers all these things pre-configured, you simply have to come here, copy the SAP role in your namespace. So all the contents are copied here. And whatever you will see, you have to save and generate it, so that you don't have to maintain all these things. These are the population who are dealing into the SAP security area from the business point of view. So they have to, work with the business for all these field and values. What are that relevant field and values are there? So here, I can give the full authorization here as well. So now all the nodes are green. So you can save it. So the moment you save it, it automatically picks up one SAP profile. And then here you see there is a candy, right? So that particular push button you can generate. The profile is updated. So all of these authorization class, object, fields, values are now pushed into this profile. And this profile is tagged to this role. So this role is now ready to be used with the user. You can assign to any user. And say, for example, you come here, go into the change mode, and then assign it and save it. So here, if you go back and display this role back, you will see the user field is also green now because currently there is no users assigned. And I have done the assignments here. So if I go back and display this role, I see it's green, and which is that user is now assigned. Okay, so these are some basic understanding. I try to just give the brief understanding around if someone is just starting, and many of you are already working on these. So these are some, for many of you are just many years you have seen this. So so these are the authorization concepts and profiles. So whatever the roles or something you comes, you simply we are talking about this one, right? Pick up one role which has, say for example, let's take one example here. Okay, so this is good candidate. So whenever these roles are delivered, so say for example this one, you have to first copy this one in your namespace. Say for example, so I have copied this into this namespace, copy all, and new composite role created. So you are see here the pop-up saying that do you want to copy the single roles as well as assign them to it. So we just want to copy them, and we do not want to assign them as of now. So oh yeah, we would like to copy all of the users, sorry, the single roles into that. So this is just saying that this you will come across this error because both things like copying and user assignments are already they are saying. So because you are assigning the same thing to the user in terms of copied role, which is the main SAP role is already there. So it is saying the underlying single roles are already assigned to the user, already exist. So that's where you can deselect them and then come back here. So here you see you have copied it, all the roles, but you just copied the composite role name, but underlying single roles are not copied. Okay. So this is a little cumbersome task, like you have to go to each role and then copy into your namespace, generate the profiles, and then you generally make a copy of all of these in your customer namespace and then assign it back, remove all the SAP standard roles here. So that's how you do. That's a little lengthy process, but you have to do that. So we were talking about, yeah, under that, where's the role? This one. Yeah, so here you see the authorization profiles are not maintained. So what we will do is we will be now copying this one, the single roles. Okay. So single roles has been copied now, but their authorization value would be still as it is. Maintain the documentation. You don't have to do anything here. Now come here and you have to generate the profile. See, all these are already maintained, but you have to push all these fields and values to the profile, whatever contained here. So we have to generate the profile here and then push it into there. Now you'll see this profile and this thing is now usable. So say, for example, why I'm saying this is, say, for example, you have simply copied this role, right? And assigned this to user. Since this is a composite role, sorry, where is that? So this is a composite role, but underlying the single roles profiles are not generated. It will not work. So you'll unnecessarily break your head. So best practice is that copy each of the content which are there lying here in the each individual single roles and then assign it to the composite role. So we created here the first now we are creating a composite role. This is nothing as we discussed. This is nothing but a container. Maintain the documentation and simply come here and then assign that particular one or many roles and then save it. If you want to, if you have multiple roles to be assigned to a user, then you create a composite role and then assign multiple single roles to the composite role and then assign it to the user. So yeah, so that was the part that we wanted to cover here in compose authorization, technical users, configuring authorization for SM setup. So SM setup, I mean, just display what is that. Oops. So if you don't know under which authorization object class that particular SM setup authorization object is there. So you can simply go ahead and find it here. Authorizations object. So this is under SM authorization object class, and then here's the authorization object, and we have these are the authorization fields. What all activities are there? So we have change, display, archive, export. So this is the change mode for all the, this is the full authorization. And you can have a selective, you can control here with the selective configuration item for which you want to provide the change access to. So SM setup, we see this is the core authorization object which is needed for solution manager setup here that we are talking about, Solman setup. And you have to elevate or you know, downgrade the access level accordingly under that authorization object. Okay, so any questions? Good. All right, so we can move to the next topic here. Okay, so here we have one. What is that? Confirm.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You can say it, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's quickly, all of you, it's too much of content, and also let's quickly do some, everybody logging into the system, remote server, and quickly do this exercise and we'll, you know, quickly check on that. So here is the lab activity, which is saying like assign administrator roles to user in SAP Solution Manager. So log in with your whatever corresponding user ID that is assigned in Solution Manager system, and then go to SU01 and transaction code SM_1 cannot be called because of basis performed. Okay, so in SU01 on the maintain user tab roles, you do one thing.
Since we are not authorized to use the transaction SU01.
And PFCG, can you quickly check?
Even the PFCG also not working.
Okay, that's great. Let me quickly fix that. I've just shared the system. Can you see the system? Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen, right? In the system?
Yes.
Okay. So let me quickly find. So this is one tool that we use, SWIM, right? SUIM. And I'm just trying to find what all roles are there, which is containing these T codes, right? SU01 and PFCG. Let's see. Okay, I think this is the good role. Um, let's do that mass maintenance. Can someone tell what is the user IDs are up till what? It's starting with 2 until what?
16.
16. How many? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. No, I lost it. Anyone remember what was that role name? Admin, user. I think this one was that. So the reason I think they were not provided, I'm not sure, but yeah, let's try to practice or see what all things are here. So I'll just save it. Now you can try. Is it working now? Can someone confirm? Can you hear me? Lost again. Am I audible? All right. So yeah, this is the three things you have to do. I'm just so create whatever is your user ID 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 16 corresponding to your actual user ID. Create a test user ID, Z test your number, and then you just maintain that this test user belongs to first name. You can put your user ID, what is there originally. Then copy, see here, the number 2 role. The number 2 user will be using this. Number 16 user will be using this particular role. Copy below role to your Z underscore GT underscore your number 2 to 16 colon this as it is SAP name. And then assign that whatever your corresponding number roles, GT roles after copying to your Z test user belonging to your number. Okay, let's quickly in 5 minutes, let's quickly finish that. Okay.
Sorry, Ashish, if possible, could you please explain again?
Yeah, sure. So you have to create one user. What is your number?
My number is 6.
6. So what you do is, number 1, you create G test 06 user ID.
Okay.
SU01. Okay.
Okay.
And then 6 is your number. Then this is your role, right? Number 6.
Okay.
Then copy this role into what is that? GT. GT 06 colon and this role name. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Create a custom role, and then in 3 in SU01 assign role this one to user this one. Get that? Clear?
Yeah, Ashish, thank you.
Yeah, let's quickly do that. Just put your hands on. And let me know when quickly we are done. We have in 5 minutes. It will not take much more time. Just 3 steps. Sorry, I got disconnected. Done. Everybody's done.
Yes, Ashish. No, not. I'm done, sir.
Okay, I think many of them are already done. Okay, what is that? Let's quickly check. Yeah, we'll quickly, what is that? G test 02. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so these were the user IDs, right? You guys have created. Hmm. Oh, 2, 3, 6. Okay, there are many few. All right, so let's see the roles. I don't see the G role copied and created, except for here. You didn't have to assign all of the roles. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think see this user created as and all the SAP standard role. The exercise was not done. There is no G role created. Only I see here the number 6. Where is that? Number 6 is also not followed. Yes. So this is what G12 to G test composite role copy, and then to assign it. So yeah, I think probably many of you did not follow that what we are trying to achieve that part of exercise. So you have to create one test user ID. You created, many of you. Then you have to copy your number roles into Z roles and then assign the newly created G composite role to your test user ID. And yeah, okay, then maybe when you get time, you can check on that. That's okay. Can you see my screen here right now? I'll take quickly, 5 minutes and then conclude. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly take this assessment. What is the primary purpose of user authentication in SAP system? Assigning roles, authorizing transaction, ensuring data consistency, verifying user identity.
Verifying.
Yes, authentication means you are verifying something. When you first log in into the SAP system, it goes and check in the kernels of the SAP and then says, that user exit and say whether this user exists in the context or not. So verifying, okay, which of the following defines the actions a user is allowed to perform within an SAP system? User groups, profiles, roles, authorization.
Roles.
The actions. Say, for example, somebody can display it, somebody can change it, somebody can create it.
Authorization.
Yes, authorizations. The innermost part of the authorization is nothing but again field and values. The role is again container. You don't know there are n number of things, but you cannot control at that granular entity level. So what action is being created? Authorization. In SAP, what is the function of a role? It defines the layout of the user interface. It groups together a set of authorizations. It specifies the database schema for a user. It determines the user's login credential.
Option 2, I think.
It groups together a set of authorization.
Yeah, right. So authorization, it groups together. It's nothing but a folder or container for the authorization groups and all. In S/4HANA, what type of user is responsible for system administration tasks? End user, dialog user, service user, system user.
System user.
No,
System.
that's then again, yeah, I forgot to mention the user type because the system user, you cannot
Sir?
log in the SAP
Service
GUI
user,
login.
service user. Service
Yeah,
user.
so service user is the right answer. Correct. The system user for the internal TMS or all those stuff that you do. So basically, we can administrative tasks is done by the service user, so that the you don't it doesn't prompt for passwords, right? Change whatever they see. So as a dialog user, it asks you to change the password in the first login. As service user, you can use the initial password set by the administrator. It doesn't ask for the prompt for the password change. So that's why. What is the purpose of composite role in SAP? To combine multiple users into a single role, to provide basic system access to all users, to group together multiple roles for a user, or to grant administrative privilege to user.
Group together multiple roles.
Correct. We have seen that one, right? So multiple role. Again, composite role, nothing but a container which contains multiple roles. I think this one, you have done it. So SAP transition code is used to assign roles to user. Which one?
SU01. Page of these.
Yes. So yeah, you're right. All of ABC, except for D is something. SU21 is something that authorization, objects are there on the field and values. So SU10 is mass maintenance. You can assign the roles to the user. PFCG, there is a provision, right? There is a tab where you can see the users. You can indirectly assign it, and from there. But that's not the practice that you do. Either you use SU01 or mass maintenance. You use SU10. Which of the following describes the principle of least privilege in SAP authorization design? Users have no authorization until explicitly requested. Users are given the maximum authorization by default. Users are assigned only the authorization necessary for their task. Users share a common set of authorization.
Option C.
Yes, user assign only the authorization necessary for their task. So it's as granular as you can do that is possible in that particular task. So that kind of privilege you can do. In Solman, which type of user is responsible for configuring and managing the system? developer, business, technical, solution manager, user. So yeah, you can say it's a little confusing. You can say we have a Solman admin solution manager user that we use for, it's a little confusing. Which SAP role is typically assigned to basis administrator managing the technical aspects of the system?
What is the answer for solution manager? User responsible for configuring?
Solution manager user.
Okay.
Which the ninth one? Which SAP role is typically assigned to? These are not roles but profiles. SAP All, SAP New, SAP Super, SAP Basis. In fact, and that, yeah, it's a basis, but yeah, I mean, you can say you assign the full access and then you take it off or something like that. But there is no specific answer you can say like, but yeah, to answer it's SAP basis. What is the purpose of authorization object in SAP's authorization concept? It defines the characteristics of a user. It represents a single authorization check. It groups together multiple roles. It specifies the user's login credentials. Authorization check, authorization object, purpose of that authorization concept. Okay. So authorization. Sorry.
I think it's answer all of the above.
No, you have to break it to the level, right? Authorization object we have seen, right? When you log into any, just trigger that you execute any T code. The first thing it goes and check what the authorization object s_t code. So any authorization object represents a single authorization check that happens into your user master record profile. So it represents a single authorization check under that. Because when you are saying the technical entity, very inner object, authorization object, then it doesn't define the characteristic of the user. It doesn't groups multiple roles. Login credential is not controlled by the authorization object, right? So yeah, it's B, which is single authorization checks. All right, yeah, thank you, and thank you very much. You all have a great weekend, and
Ashish,
yeah.
I mean, I was informed that tomorrow will be a session for the concepts which I missed yesterday.
I'm sorry.
I was informed that tomorrow will be the concepts. Which were missed in the yesterday's session.
Oh, you mean to say the glitch for whatever 15 minutes? But we further started back from there, right? Or which one you are referring?
I think.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
it's
I didn't.
overview checklist, right? Overview checklist.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's the one I'm referring to. But it was said, I don't know. So just check with Zaran Infotech, tech support. I think they might be able to.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
sure. If you guys miss something, then definitely I'm not aware of. But yeah, we'll check with them. And what you come to know about that, those missed thing, right? I think the last 15-20 minutes somewhere we have a glitch disconnect, right? And somebody said like, yeah, somebody said like we dropped off at guided procedure and that's where we started back. But then, yeah, if something is left, yeah, we can go back and thoroughly check on that. And if something is planned for tomorrow, this is what they said.
Yeah, I mean that's what I got to know.
Okay, all right, not a problem. And the thing is that, yeah, here we talked about a little bit of authorization concept app base, and there is a small portion wherein UME Java, right, or the corresponding Java-based system, what we call them, user management engine. So there is a small, correlation there. So I thought like I'll just cover it up, but then again, it just 5-10 minutes overview of that and understanding display of that. Then probably the next thing we now we move into the SLD configuration and stuff, because SLD right now remote system is not configured. So we all together will do it. And maybe if you want to practice or something and, you know, move the data from SLD to LMDB and then service marketplace, customer profile. So those trace or something, the path and push and pull of the data, you can practice. You can delete the system, technical system, again, add it for the practice purpose. So that in-house is that is very important for this, you know, the truth of the data within the solution manager. Otherwise, your maintenance and upgrades and things are not consistent with the system components version and all. You may miss downloading certain components, and your whatever the stack XML and things were not proper and not proper patching. So it's very, very critical and important that your you know, your system record, system data should be in sync in all the different layers of, right from service marketplace to LMDB solution manager through to your, if you have any central SLDs you are being in use, that one, and till your all the technical system. So yeah, so those will be that's the very critical thing. And if you know the nitties and gritties of that, then in whatever scenarios you should be comfortable and you should be able to sync up. Because tomorrow, say for example, somebody say, hey, go and download the stack, generate the stack XML and download it for some patching or SPS upgrade or some upgrade. And then for over the month's time, the sync up and the job and things are not updated and everybody is out of sync. Then you start pushing the data from your technical system to SLD to LMDB, and then you go to the maintenance planner, right? And that's how you do it. And you make sure in sync, and if unless until it is not green in SMP, you cannot generate it. You will end up in lots of issues and trouble. So this is a very important topic, which is the master data across the board and for your landscape. And you should know each and every nuts and bolts of it, where it is, what all things are involved, what are the automatic, what are manual. So we'll gradually look into that and move forward there. Okay. All right. Sorry, we took a little more time, but yeah, we are done. But if anybody would like to have something, then immediately go for it. Else, otherwise, if you have any question and anything, you can go for it. Else, we are done for the day, and let's. All right, thank you. Yeah, you all have a good day and have a great weekend.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.